Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. It's time to introduce you to a new member of our car family or hobby family, whatever you want to call it. This thing's been out of the limelight for a while, but it's time to get it back to life. This here is our 89 Daytona stock car. We call it the old blue lump. Or at least this is what's left of the poor thing. The last time we ever raced this, it kind of had a rough night. I went down into the third turn and the bolts holding the rear stub on failed. And I spun out in front of the whole field. I was up on the outside making a move on a guy. And yeah, I got clobbered on the left side. And it got tore up pretty good, as you can see. And that was the last time we ever ran the car. It was in 2019 at the end of the season. That was kind of a strange season. Up until then, I'd always run like a full season of racing. And in 2019, I decided I was going to kind of do half, or maybe not even half, of the season. And I don't know if it was just bad luck or whatever, but we just couldn't get our rhythm that year. Every time the car went on the track, it came back smashed or broken. It was a terrible season. Anyway, so after this happened, we took the engine and transmission out of this and put them in the neon for when we went to the big 5/8 track at Jukasa. And unfortunately, the engine got hurt. Well, it got wrecked. So this whole thing has been sitting around for a couple of years, but I'm getting tired of pushing it when I need to move it. I can't bring myself to cut it up, so this is a damn good car, and when it's sorted out, it is fast. I mean, fast. And it's a tank, too. Anybody that's ever run into it usually ends up taking the worst of it. But anyway, come along with us, and we're going to get this thing back race ready. Well, we got her in the garage on 4 stands. That's the first step. This side doesn't look too bad, and that's odd because it's usually this side that gets all beat to hell. The fender's a little banged up, but we can knock that out. This side's another story. It's been clobbered from here all the way up to the front. Now, when I stand back and look at it, you can see how it's kind of twisted up this way. So I'm hoping that that's not the rails that are twisted, but the body, I think, has been all shoved up over here. Because if you notice, that hood pin stuck through all the way, and that one not so much. So first thing we're going to do is get the hood and the nose and the fenders off it, and we will have a look and see if the rails are bent. Okay, so you can see that it's taken a hell of a jolt on this corner here. It mangled up the Nerf bar and everything, but it all did its job. This stuff kind of took the brunt of it, and the rails in that are good and straight. On these little front wheel drive cars, I mean, mostly from here out, it just doesn't really matter all that much. So long as there's something to attach the nose of it to and hang the rad from, you're good to go. It's from here back. You need your motor and tranny hung in straight, and you need the top of the strut and the ball joint to be where they need to be, kind of in the 3 dimensions of space, and you're good. So she'll live to fight another day. And this is why we can't give up on this old girl, because let me tell you, she's been good to me. Now that I know the front of it is straight, or at least mostly straight enough to fix, the first thing we're going to do is get this rear axle fixed up. There's more to it than just reattaching the stub to the end here. This axle has been bent so many times, and I always end up having to keep shimming the stubs to get the wheels pointing where they got to point. I've got a good axle out back. So we'll just swap it out and start from scratch. They won't know what to think when they see this thing come back. Nobody's seen this car probably in about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years anyway. We've got the old bent axle out of the car. You can see here, well, I don't know. It might be hard to see on camera, but it's bent right in the middle here. It's got kind of a wow to it, and it may be twisted also because I had to get pretty aggressive with the shims behind the stubs to get this thing back how I needed it. You can see here the point of failure. The bottom bolts broke that hold the stub on, and you can see there how that bent when the bolts broke. I do recall what happened to this, and it's my own fault. About 3 weekends before this happened, it was a heat race. We went down into the third turn, and somebody in front of me blew a rad hose, and we all spun out in it. And when I spun around, I hit the guy's left front with my right rear. Bang, like that. Everything seemed fine. The car drove away. I continued on in the heat race. We brought it back in the pits after, pushed the quarter panel back out, and we continued the night. But I guess that impact broke those bolts, or broke one of them, and the other one broke later. We made it through the next week. Everything was fine. And then the third week, we started the night in the first or second heat race. The car kind of spun out all by itself, and that was really weird because it was very unlike this car. It should have set off the alarms in my head, but it's hot and sunny there, and my brain gets a little bit baked. And anyway, blah blah blah. And then when we started the feature, I was on the outside, and the second or third lap, we went down into the third turn, and I was making hay on the outside, and I guess the other bolt broke or whatever. And this thing bent, and that, well, you can see how that wheel suddenly turning like that is going to loop the car. And I looped it in front of the whole field and got creamed on the left side. So anyway, yada, yada, yada. Here's our new axle. And now something you can see that's interesting. Don't think these axles are all the same. This one you can see is from a standard K car or a LeBaron or something. You can see the end plates are 3/8 of an inch thick. This one's from a Daytona. The end plates are a 1/2 inch thick. That's pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to swap our disc brake stuff over onto this rear end. This drum brake axle was actually in this car before, and we switched it to disc brakes. So the stubs are already shimmed up for my camber angles, so we'll just carefully swap the disc brake stuff over without disturbing that. Well, we got that done. Got the rear axle changed. The brakes all fixed up and bled up. We're put our nice ATE or ATE rotors. I got 4 of them on it. I had them in the shed for a long time. They're great rotors. They never rust. Now, once we got that all fixed up, I rolled it outside and we gave the whole thing a good power wash. The inside and the engine compartment. Now we can work on it without getting covered in scuzz. This thing had a couple of nasty oil leaks over the years. Sometimes the oil leaks were due to a large hole in the side of the engine block. Sometimes they were just leaks. But anyway, all fixed up now. Now we need an engine. I hope there's enough junk here to put one together. Well, that should do it for this one. We got a really good start on the old blue lump here. And, oh man, hey, while we're talking about racing, how about Andre DeGrasse? Hey, gold medal in the 200 meter. I watched it. Man, can that guy run. The 2 American guys were actually ahead of him, and he, I guess as we say in drag racing, drove around him in high gear. And he come up right between the 2 of them and won. I read somewhere that he can run faster than Connor McDavid can skate. That's unbelievable. Can he skate? Get him a pair of skates. Maybe the Leafs could use him. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, pretty good so far. Canadians are doing good at the Olympics. It's good to see. And I hope we can get the old Blue Lump here doing good back on the high banks of Peterborough Speedway. Only time will tell. Anyway, stick around. I guess soon we're going to have to start thinking about a powertrain for this thing. That I don't have an engine, but I have lots of engine pieces. And I don't know if there's a transmission around for it. I don't even know. I have to go look in the shed. Anyway, that's another adventure for another day. But until then, thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time on the Claremont Classic Garage. So long.